Good afternoon. My name is Kim Morrison. In today's debate, I will argue that an effective international legal system does not exist. The legal system that currently exists is not effective because it does not fulfill the basic functions that a legal system must. The system as it exists is decentralized and non-binding. The world's nations remain sovereign with no established world government or even a judicial system with lawmaking or even law enforcing authority. In addition, it's not effective because it's culturally biased with a foundation built upon its European history with little regard for alternate perspectives, values, and cultural context. What do I mean by effective? Well, Morgenthau indicates there are three basic functions that a legal system must fulfill: legislation, adjudication, and enforcement. I will consider these three areas in explaining why an effective international legal system does not exist. In addition, I strongly believe that to be effective, the international legal system must be sensitive to culture and context. Let's consider the area of legislation. Curry indicates that within international law, there is no central or constitutionally authorized legislature or lawmaking body. This is due to the decentralized foundation on which it is built. The basic structure of the international community is a collection of independent and sovereign states. The main way international law is created is by international treaty, and only for the nations that are party to that treaty. What results is different sets of rules governing different states. There are no commonly agreed to international binding rules. By way of example, the United Nations Charter is an international legal agreement that Morgenthau considers vague and ambiguous. With this vagueness, nations interpret and apply the provisions of international law based upon their own interests. Morgenthau argues this vagueness is necessary in order to get the support of member nations. Curry notes that the UN has no formal lawmaking powers of its own and no power to create binding precedents. Another basic function that an effective legal system must perform is that of adjudication. The International Court of Justice is the principal judicial arm of the United Nations. Once again, it lacks binding force. On the Government of Canada website regarding ICJ, they highlight that a member state can refuse to submit to their jurisdiction. This reality significantly reduces its effectiveness. In addition to the ICJ, an international criminal court has been established, but again this is based on voluntary participation, and major international players such as the US, China, and India have not signed on. Former US Secretary of State and National Security Advisor Henry Kissinger purports that submitting international politics to judicial procedures with universal jurisdiction is dangerous in that it may create a tyranny of judges instead of governments. Thirdly, international law is generally not enforceable. Curry indicates that enforcement largely depends on consensual dispute resolution mechanisms and political pressure. As I have emphasized, the system of law is premised upon modern states that are sovereign. With this, states are only bound by the law to which they have consented. The system is essentially voluntary and non-binding. Morgenthau indicates when international laws are violated, they are not always enforced, and when action to enforce is actually taken, it is not always effective. Today's international legal system is a reflection of Western culture, and with its European roots, is dominated by European political, legal, and cultural values. Joannette indicates that international law reflects the values of its European origins to address the concerns of states with their territorial and colonial domination. Joannette goes on to question how international law can be perceived as truly international when it refuses to accept there are other legal and political forms, such as Islam and communism. So, to recap my position, I believe that the current international legal system, as it exists, is decentralized, non-binding, and is generally weak. It does not meet the basic functions that a legal system must relating to legislation, adjudication, and enforcement. The system is culturally biased and insensitive to alternate perspectives and approaches. I believe it is clear that an effective international legal system does not exist. Thank you.